What's up, guys? So today we're looking at a QSP Worker. All right, I have been thoroughly impressed with this knife since getting it, and it is time to talk about it here. But actually, before I talk about it, let's look at this packaging real quick, all right, because I thought this was worth showing. So this is a box you get it. You see Worker N690 blade, wood handle. This does come in 4 different handle styles, we'll talk about in a second. But I like this little pull-out box. I thought this was nice. This is like a super thick cardboard. All right, and of course comes with a little card here. All right, which gives you, let's zoom in on this. So this gives you a little breakdown on the specs on the knife, which is very cool. And you can see the handle options here. So we have a regular G10, which is a black G10. There's a bone, which is a green. It's kind of like a really bright green jigged bone, which is really nice. The wood, which is specifically snake wood, and then there's also a carbon fiber G10 combo, which is the blue G10. All right, so we have that carbon fiber look, but there's streaks of blue in it. That looks really, really nice as well. Now, as a really cool bonus, this knife does come with a belt sheath. All right, so you can see it's a fold-over sheath, which I did carry and use a couple times. It also comes with a pocket clip, so it's not totally necessary. You can see QSP on there, very traditional motif. All right, supple, soft leather. All right, when using the sheath, I did have it, as you saw in the beginning of the video, clipped in. All right, so if you have it tucked in here, I found it to just be a little bit hard to retrieve. It's not a huge deal. There's just a lanyard hole on this, so if you want to put a lanyard on it, make it a lot easier. But in the sheath with the pocket clip, it is extra secure. It's not going to go anywhere, but it happens to sit just a little bit higher. All right, so in retrieving this, you have a little bit more to grab onto to take it out. All right, definitely worth noting there, but the sheath is a really cool little bonus. So as mentioned before, this is in snake wood, which I think looks awesome. It just really fits a knife, although there are those other versions, and obviously they all look good for different reasons. Just depends on what kind of look you want on your knife. It's a very simple, clean design here. All right, again, QSP, you can see the logo on the blade here. All right, and then on the back, we have the signature of the designer and my good friend, Arthur Brehm, all right, from Germany. And also, as mentioned, this is in Bowler N690, so there's a stamping on the bottom of the blade. So if we get a close-up on this blade, oh, we got a little tape or something on there. All right, we have a sheep's foot style blade. I know Arthur is very, very favorable for this type of shape. So we have a very, very straight edge. Okay, now even though this doesn't come to a point per se, there's still a point on there. I've talked about this before. Some people, prefer worn clips over sheep's foot, and I always ask, why? Well, I want a point on my knife, and of course, a sheep's foot doesn't have a point. Well, it still has a point. It's just a very wide point. I've talked about this maybe in other videos where it's just a wider point. So obviously, if you have a nice pointy point, it's easier to penetrate into, say, packaging, cardboard, stuff like that. This, you have to see that it is a point. It's just a lot wider. All right, but obviously when you're opening things, you would just dig that part in as opposed to a very pointy point. Now the N690 has worked out totally fine with this knife. This thing came screaming sharp. Of course, after use, it did dull out, but it was very, very easy to put an edge back on here. And again, because this is just a straight line, literally a straight line, even if you're kind of newer to using, let's say, bench stones or something for hand sharpening, this is a great blade style to go with because it makes it a lot easier for you to learn actually how to sharpen a knife. Now, I know he's a huge fan of the anchor knife, all right? So that's where the base design is coming from, especially with this blade style and everything. But it's just a really clean take on it, all right? His version of it. Stainless steel bolsters here, all right? Again, your scales of choice. I do like the snake wood a lot. Let me zoom in on that. Here's a close-up shot of that. That wood grain is just amazing. It just stands out as being special and different, Nothing wrong with the other ones. I really like the green jig bone, again, having that kind of traditional look. I think that's really awesome. There's nothing wrong with the G10, the black plain G10, if you want more of a modern look. And of course, the carbon fiber G10 combo with the blue-black thing is just awesome. It's really, really cool. All right, so if you lean heavily towards the modern part of modern traditional, then those would be the choice. As far as like the fit and finish, this is just awesome. I got to get nice and tight to show you this. But look at these bolsters on the back. Look at the lockup between that lock bar and the base of our blade. It is just very, very crisp. All right, the scales, the fitment on the scales are perfect. There's no gaps or spaces. The only thing I can find wrong, quote unquote wrong, was down here. This tiny, tiny little gap. all right, which obviously doesn't affect the performance of the knife or anything. But besides that, the fitment is pretty much flawless. All right, for the under $100 price tag on this knife, that is pretty amazing as far as quality. Now, something else that I think is really cool is there's actually a bearing system in here. All right, this is very, very smooth. All right, the operation's awesome on this. It is a lockback, as you saw. Lockup is perfect. There's no wiggle in any direction. All right, it's a very solid lockup. And although this is designed to be a two-handed knife, right, we have a nail nick here, but there's plenty of blade that's exposed, so you don't have to actually use the nick with your nail. If it was really tight against the scale, you know, you might have to get in there, but obviously you can just grab it. But you can see how smooth this is. All right, just wants to open itself, but it's not going to accidentally open. But the reason I'm mentioning this is because even though this is meant to be opened and operated with two hands, you can manipulate it with one hand. All right, like I've showed before, middle finger and thumb, kind of a pinch. Once you get that open partially, you can just rotate it open. All right, and because it's so smooth and it has that bearing system, if you hold it on a downward angle, because if you hold an upward angle, you don't want the blade swinging and cutting you. But if you hold it on a downward angle and depress that lock completely, that blade will half close. Then you can change your position and close it all the way. So you can actually just operate this with one hand, you know, if need be. So actually, if I hold it open like this, depress the lock completely, kind of wiggle that back and forth, you can see that this blade kind of freely moves, all right, because it is really, really smooth. Now, as far as the pocket clip goes, you can see it is a deep concealed carry. All right, there is just a tiny bit that's poking out of the pocket. You can see the design here has two holes so you can get to those screws. Okay, so if you want to take the pocket clip off, you can certainly do so. Again, if you're considering carrying it in the sheath and you're not going to use the pocket clip, you just want to throw a lanyard on there or just have it as is, you can certainly remove the clip. It is nice to have both options, both sheath carry or just in the pocket, like a lot of people might prefer. All right, so tip up right side carry. You can see it's not tapped for the other side. All right, and as far as tension, it is absolutely perfect. Okay, it's tight, but it's not so tight that you can't actually just manipulate it in and out of the pocket. But again, because this is running on this snakewood, it is super smooth. Now, actually, if I use the sheath here, I can pretend this is a pocket. So you can see a thick piece of leather there. Just pushing down, it wants to override and just slip in very easily. But obviously, it's not going to fall out. All right, so it's nice and secure. So overall, I mean, I really do like this knife a lot. I think this could easily sell for $100 or $120, but at that $85 price tag, it is a little bit hard to find. This is actually a very popular knife. All right, so I think that this is also available overseas, plenty of places, but it's a little bit more limited in the US. Now, I showed that little spec card in the beginning of the video that had all the measurements and stuff, but I'm not sure if it showed the weight. This is coming in at 4.27 ounces, and I have to say it carries very, very well. I was actually a little surprised. It doesn't seem like it's over 3 ounces. It's just, you know, it's a simple knife, and even though it's all stainless construction with some wood scales, it doesn't feel heavy at all. I'm a huge fan, I have to say. Kind of a bonus because Arthur Brehm is a super, super nice guy. He has an entire German channel. If you haven't seen him before, I'm going to put a link in the description box, not only to his channel, but also to a video of him explaining why he designed this worker as well as the neck knife, which I'm going to be reviewing in the future. He has the QSP Neckmuk, which is a really, really cool design, kind of combining two awesome things, but we'll talk more about that in the future. But yes, he has his own video that he did in English to kind of explain, you know, where he was coming from when designing these knives. Anyway, that's it for now. I have to say, huge fan. If you guys are getting into the modern traditionals, this is definitely worth looking at if you can find them. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.